Happy Saturday, guys. Come on in, grab your drinks, your coffee, your tea, your water, whatever you're sipping on this morning, and let's get into the word. You know, today is our day to get in the word to find out what's on the heart of God concerning you and I. And once again, I am excited about this encouraging word because it is something that we as the body, as we as believers, we as the children of God need to be very in tune and focused and aware of. So you've seen the title. We're going to get right into it. Pay attention to the signs. Pay attention to the signs. So I know right off the back, you probably think, ooh, she's going to tell us something about a sign, something that we can see, something that is obvious, you know, with this COVID and the Delta and things that's going on in our government and in our world. A lot of that is kind of, there's nothing, I won't say that. There are some things that are secretive about it, but it's obvious because we all see it. We all know there's inconsistencies. So it's like, it kind of leaves us on edge to what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing. Should I believe it? That's not what we're going to talk about today. Pay attention to the signs. Pay attention to the signs is all about what God is trying to show us, but we are not paying attention to what he's trying to reveal to us. But because we are distracted and focused on everything else, we do not hear him with what he's trying to show us. Yes, we don't hear him with what he's trying to show us. And I know you say, well, hearing is hearing and seeing is seeing, but hearing and seeing work together. And I'm going to prove that hopefully to you in today's Saturday. We're going to get right into it with Revelations 1:9-13. Revelations 1:9-13. It says, I, John, your brother and partner in the affliction, kingdom, and endurance that are in Jesus, was on the island called Patmos because of the word of God and the testimony of Jesus. Verse 10, I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day, and I heard a loud voice behind me like a trumpet saying, write on a scroll what you see and send it to the 7 churches, Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamum, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing those correct. Verse 12, then I turned to see whose voice it was that spoke to me. When I turned, I saw. When I turned, I heard. When I turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands. And among the lampstands was one like the Son of Man, dressed in a robe and with a golden sash wrapped around his chest. Verse 13 in another version, it says, and in the midst or center of the lampstands, one resembling the Son of Man. The key to this passage that we just read is verse 10. I was in the Spirit. I was in the Spirit. And because John was in the Spirit, he was able to see when God called him, when he heard the voice of God, he was able to see what God was saying. What God was saying was in the imagery or in the picture of the lampstands. And in this season, it is going to require us to pay attention to the signs. Pay attention to the signs, because if not, if we don't know the voice of God when he calls, if we're not familiar when we turn to look at what we heard, trying to distinguish, where did this come from? Who said that? What are you saying? When we see what we see, it may be a distraction. It may throw us off guard. It may be something that we look at and say, well, I don't really understand this. But the idea is to know his voice so that when you see what you see, you'll hear what he's saying and what you see. And I know that probably all sounds confusing, but once again, our vision and our hearing, they have to be married in this season. See, because a lot of what we're seeing, even on the news and even on TV, and what we're hearing, there are secrets, there are hidden agendas, there are codes being given. And because we don't know the language of the world, which is codes, I'm going to talk about that later. The language of the world is codes, but the language of the Father is parables. And if we don't understand the parables, if we don't understand the signs, if we don't understand the symbols, if we don't understand what he's showing us, we can get instruction to hear what he's trying to tell us. I'm excited about today's Saturday. I have had an interesting 2 weeks, and it has brought me to today. I want to encourage you with what the Lord has given me. So let's talk about hearing and seeing. You know, you may say they're two different, and yes, they are. But where we're going is going to require us to have both of our portals, our ears and our eyes fixed together, married together, so that we can enter, so that we can be protected, so that we can be covered, so that we can be guarded in this next season of where we're going. It's like, you ever go, let's say me and my family went to the Cheesecake Factory just maybe 2 weeks ago. We got up, we went to Brandon to the Cheesecake Factory. And although behind the display were several different cheesecakes and cakes, my eyes saw chocolate, it saw vanilla, it saw frosting, it saw white, it saw black, it saw sprinkles, it saw a little bit of everything. But there was one thing that began to call out to me, and that's cheesecake. I'm kind of a plain girl when it comes to cheesecake. I'll try something different every now and then, but I am a plain cheesecake type of girl, like my daddy. Plain cheesecake. So although I saw all of those different things, there was one that said, yeah, come get me. Hey, get a piece of me. I'm going to satisfy your appetite. I'm going to satisfy your hunger and your thirst for little sweets, even though you probably shouldn't have it. But I'm the one. I'm the one. There was no confusion. I was not distracted. I knew what I wanted. I know what I like. I'll say that. But because I am open to trying new things at the Cheesecake Factory, every now and then I'll get something different. But even though I saw what I saw, there was one that called out to me. And guess what? I listened. And I ordered the cheesecake and ordered the chocolate cake for my daughter and my husband. So hearing and seeing have to be married in this season, so that when God begins to show us signs, we can hear what he's saying and what he's showing us. So I'm going to take you through a story of what God has had me in for the last 2 weeks. It started August 8th, Sunday, August 8th. So this is 2 weeks ago. And I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying, but also remember, pay attention to the signs. See, because I'm in this season where I'm really seeking the Lord for who I am, right? I've only embraced myself as a singer for over 40 years. I'm 43, but for 40 something years now, I've only embraced that I'm a singer. And now I'm coming to the realization that, Tisha, you are more than just a singer. And I've heard it over the years. I've gotten prophetic words. I've written it down. I've reread the prophetic words over the years, but I've only accepted that I'm a singer. And I am in a season where the Lord has opened up my eyes to see, Tisha, you are more than just a singer. Now that I've embraced it, now that I've accepted it, I am trying to seek the Lord to find out what my fingerprint is in this day, what my voice is in this day. I've seen it done many ways that I loved, ways that I didn't really care for. But Lord, what are you calling me to do? What is my lane? What is my assignment? And that's not going to come with just me wondering and guessing and even praying. See, some of us stop at praying, and the Lord is saying, you have to go deeper than prayer. You have to go deeper in prayer. In prayer, sometimes we're telling God, what is it that we want? Lord, I want you to open my eyes. Lord, I want you to expose and reveal to me who I am, who you are inside of me, what you're calling me to do. And sometimes in prayer, the Lord will begin to show it. But then there's a deeper place where you begin to seek him. That's beyond the quick prayer, the 5-minute prayer. Seek sitting at his feet. Seek staying in his face. Seek saying, Lord, I'm not moving from this place. I know I got to do things and I have a life, but I'm being intentional about every moment that I have to get before you and to get in your word to find out who I am, but most importantly, who you are in me. So this started Sunday, August 8th. I sat out on my patio because I've been sitting out on my patio and just praying and looking in the sky. And my prayer has been, Lord, show yourself to me. Show me, God. I want to see you. I want to see you. And I'm not necessarily looking for his face, but looking for signs, looking for symbols, looking for just for things to appear, right, in the sky that is not normal or visible to the average eye or to any other eye, where I can be able to say, oh my God, I saw him, right? I went outside and I'm praying. But when I first got out there, I seen, this is real life, guys. This is no vision. There were bees everywhere in the grass on our patio. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting, because they were like butterflies. They were like butterflies in the sense of bees is kind of swarming. Bees are you kind of swatting them. They weren't bothering me. I wasn't afraid. They were just on the grass, and there were a bunch of them. It wasn't like one or two. My daughter came outside. I was like, Mommy, look at the bees. And she was like, oh, I'm going inside. And I'm like, they're not even bothering me. But it's just interesting because I've sat out here many a times, never saw bees, and never saw bees like this. So that was that. The following week, Wednesday, August 11th, I was getting gas at a gas station on Florida and Fletcher. And as I'm pumping my gas, there are now one or two bees that are flying around, and I'm swatting them, like trying to get them out of my face. A car pulls up on the other side. A girl gets out. She starts gassing up. And she starts, oh my goodness, where are these bees coming from? I said, I know, I see them too. And she said, well, bees don't bother you unless they feel threatened. And I was like, well, I ain't never heard that before. I don't play with bees because I know they sting and whatever. So we're pumping gas. We had that little conversation. When I look to my left, the gas pump that's on the other side, there's a lady that pulls up. She gets out to pump gas. And when I look on the ground, there were like 100 bees just like around the gas tank, but the bottom of it. And I was like, oh my God. So I told the girl, I said, yo, look at those bees over there. We just had one or two. We were flying. And I looked down to see if they were on the ground where I was. They weren't. They were on her side. So she was like, oh my goodness. She was like, that lady don't even know, because the lady was on the phone and pumping her gas. So I waited till she got off the phone. I was like, ma'am, I was like, be careful of the bees. And she looked down. She got afraid. The gas, she had it on the clicker. So it was pumping automatically. She got in her car. Paid no attention to it. But I said, you know what, when I got in my car, I said, I'm gonna look on like Google and see if there's a infestation of bees or something here, because this is weird that I've seen them again. I never looked it up. Okay. So now we move on to last Saturday. Last Saturday, I told you I woke up 3:45, came in here to pray. The Lord showed me 3 visions. And that day, from that, I said, you know what? I'm going to fast. I'm going to fast because the Lord, you trying to show me something. I've been dreaming like crazy. These dreams are chaotic. Some of them are all over the place. Some of them is like, I don't know what you're saying, Lord. And so I'm really, really seeking the mind of the Father for what he's trying to show me. So I decided to fast. And so anytime you see me drinking water for my Saturday, is more than likely 10 times out of 10 is because I'm fasting. So I had my water. In that day, he showed me the 3 visions, and I put that up on Facebook. I put a clip. I think maybe it's about 4 minutes. So that's boom. That's last Saturday. This Tuesday, August 17. So remember, this started 2 Sundays ago. This Tuesday, August 17, I was let's see. I was praying at the studio, and I'm gonna tell you what I wrote. It says I was praying at the studio, and this is what I wrote. 8:17 this Tuesday. While praying at the studio, I heard the Lord say, it's going to be important that we know his voice, so we'll know it's him when he shows up different. He's going to begin revealing himself in different, unusual ways. We'll miss him looking for him without knowing his voice, right? And he began to show me, I seen the picture of a phoenix, and I wind up looking that up, and Okay, that's a whole nother Saturday. I looked it up for the definition and got the definition. But yesterday, as I began to read, oh my goodness, the Lord took me on a whole rabbit trail. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. He's trying to show me something. He's trying to show me something. So boom. So the Lord said he's going to begin revealing himself in different unusual ways, right? And we'll miss him if we're looking for him without knowing his voice. So that was Tuesday. This past Thursday, 8/19, I woke up 4:30, came in here and prayed, sat down on my little bench here, and as I'm praying, I saw a crown. Just a simple crown. That was it. So I stopped praying because it was like I was trying to focus on this vision. I seen a W and a W. So it's almost like spelling the word wow, right? But instead of an O in the center, the crown was in the center. And I kept seeing world war, world war, world war. WAR, just in case you can't understand me. World war with the crown in the center. So I heard Deborah. You are a Deborah. And it was like, okay, I'm hearing this and I'm like, wow, the crown, Deborah. Now, if I could be honest with you, Deborah is not one of the ladies in the Bible that I know her story until yesterday. Well, for me going deeper, I'll say. So remember, this is Thursday. So on the way to driving my daughter to school and going to the studio, I'm back in the studio now because school has started and I drive my daughter to school. So I try to make time to really pray in the studio and not just, Lord, I thank you for today, like really, really pray, especially now. Okay, so I get to the studio and I got my hair done on Thursday and my appointment was at 10:30. So I got there at 8 o'clock. I said, you know what, I'm not gonna start working because I don't want to get momentum and then stop. I said, you know what, let me go ahead and research like Deborah. And when I searched, the first thing I saw was a crown. And then I began to listen to the story of Deborah. And 12 minutes into this 14-minute clip, the person said, Deborah, the meaning of Deborah is B. And I paused the TV. I'm getting goosebumps right now. I don't know if you can see that. I paused the TV and I jumped up. And if you ever been to my studio, I have a place where I work. And then in the other room, it's like when you first come in, and then like my fitting room. I ran to my fitting room because I began to like cry and scream, and I didn't want the people that work next door to think something was wrong with me. So I'm trying to like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, God, I hear you, God, I hear you. I'm realizing that he's been trying to show me something with the bees, the sign, but I was missing it. Right? And so I begin to cry, all I kept saying is, wow, God, wow, God, wow, wow, God, wow. I was so like in shock in it, and wow, God. And then while I'm saying wow, he reminded me of the word that I saw when I was in my room with the vision, and I became overwhelmed even more. I'm sorry, I'm getting excited. I became overwhelmed even more because the word that he showed me, now I'm saying it. And so, what is God saying? I began to read up on Deborah for myself yesterday, and I was stuck on the palm tree. And when I dug deeper, I Googled palm tree and I found that there is a phoenix palm tree. And I'm like, wait a minute, Lord, you showed me a phoenix the other day, and I looked it up. And I got the definition and got what I felt it meant. But what is phoenix palm tree? What is this? And when I tell you, I sat about 3 hours last night to 11 something. My head was hurting, but I'm like, Lord, I wanna uncrack the code. I want to uncrack this code because you're trying to show me something. So 3 things. What is the Lord saying? God is speaking, but we don't know his voice. So we are missing him and what he's trying to show us. We don't know his voice, so we're missing him in what he tries to show us. Once again, the hearing and the ears and the mouth, the speaking and the hearing, the listening, and all of that works together. And if we don't know the voice of God, we'll miss him in what he's trying to show us. The second thing, we are not in the spirit. We are not in the spirit. We are not in the spirit. And so it's only in the spirit that we will see and hear what God is trying to show us and tell us. It's only in the spirit. Only in the spirit will we see what the world won't see. We'll be looking at the same thing, but the Lord will give us keen vision and insight. He's been showing me animals for about a couple of months now. First it was the eagle, and then I was like, okay, let me look up the eagle. I put up something on Thursday for the ladies about the eagle and their feet, the strength of their feet and how they carry what they carry. They never transfer that fish or that prey into its mouth because it may drop it. And in this season, there's some things we just have to hold on to and shut our mouths not to say it, because it will possibly abort what it is that we're saying, abort whatever God is trying to do. I've seen a big lion's head and the eyes, and there were fire in the lion's eyes. So he's showing me these images and these things, and it's like, okay, I need to just look them up, but not realizing God is really, really, really trying to show me, I know something, but I believe too, he's trying to show you signs. And so if we don't know his voice, we will miss what he's trying to say. Matthew 13:10-11 says, then the disciples came up and asked him, why are you speaking to them in parables? He answered, because the secrets of the kingdom of heaven have been given for you to know. It has been given for I to know, but it has not been given to them. Who is them? The world. Who is them? The enemy. Who is them? He that hath an ear but do not hear. That does not hear. He's trying to tell us something. He's trying to show us something. Open your ears to hear what the Spirit of the Lord is saying. In John 10:1-4, it says, truly I tell you, anyone who doesn't enter the sheep pen by the gate but climbs in some other way is a thief and a robber. The one who enters by the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. Who is the shepherd? Jesus is the shepherd. Who is the sheep? We are the sheep. Verse 3, the gatekeeper opens it for him, and the sheep hears his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. Verse 4, when he has brought all of his own outside, he goes ahead of them. The sheep follow him because they know his voice. When he has brought all of his own outside, we are out in the wilderness. This world is a wilderness, a dark wilderness in today, 2020, and it will continue to get dark. It will continue to get gloomy. It would continue to be get worse, if you will. But the Bible says he goes ahead of them. The sheep follow him because they know his voice. Pay attention to the signs. What is the Lord showing you through dreams? What is he showing you through visions? What is he showing you that you thought, wow, this is strange, this is crazy, and put it out of your mind? Pay attention to the signs. Go deeper. Seek the Lord. What are you showing me? What are you trying to reveal to me? Because as we talked about last week, it may be the very thing that saves your life. It may be the very thing that the Lord is trying to give you instruction and warning so you can prepare a body of people or other people so that we are not lost, so that we are not overcome by the enemy in his camp, his plan, and his plot. 3, God's voice is the code cracker. God's voice is the code cracker. Once again, the world deals and operates in codes, but the Lord, he operates in parables. His voice is the code cracker. So there are things behind what will be exposed and revealed to us. There are things that will be said, things that will be introduced, things that would be promoted, things that would be encouraged, things that would even be forced. We know 666, the mark of the beast, but I don't believe that it's going to be presented as the number 666, but we are going to have to know the voice of God to have the code breaker behind the terminology that they are feeding us and they are giving us. The world speaks in codes. The Lord speaks in parables. He that hath an ear, let him hear. The parables, he's speaking in that way for us, not for them. I looked up the word code, and this is what the definition of code is: a system of words, letters, figures, or other symbols substituted for other words. In other words, it's not the real thing, it's what you see, but there's something else beyond that code, that figure, or that symbol, especially for the purpose of secrecy. This is just the regular Google definition. This is not, I didn't get this from the Bible, none of that. A system of words, letters, figures, or other symbols substituted for other words, letters, especially for the purpose of secrecy. Once again, the world talks in code, but the Lord talks in parable. How will we be able to break the code? We must be in the spirit to hear him and what he's showing us. I'm going to say that again. How will we be able to break the code? We must be in the spirit to hear him and what he's showing us. Once again, John heard, but he saw. But in the midst of the lampstands, he saw one that appeared to be the sun. The Lord revealed himself in the lampstand. Now, the lampstand represented something. But if he did not see God, he would just think, oh, it's a lampstand. Okay, wow, that's weird. Where did that voice go from? I'm going crazy. Many of you think that you're going crazy. Many of you think that you're bugging out. Many of you think that you're losing it because you're hearing, because you're seeing, and other people are not hearing, and other people are not seeing. I challenge you to go deeper. I challenge you to sit at the feet of Jesus. I challenge you to make time to seek his mind, to find out, God, what is the code breaker for what they are saying? What is the code breaker for what you are showing me? I see a lion's head, but what does that mean? I see an eagle's eye, but what does that mean? Lord, I see a crown, but what are you saying? Lord, I see a bee, but what are you saying? Get before the Lord to find out what he's showing you, what he's saying. And that will only come through the form of parables. The Lord wants to break codes. He's given us the keypad combination. But we're going to have to listen for him to say, press 2. Press 9 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Press 7. Now press 0. Now press 4. Now press enter 12 times. What, Lord? Enter? You usually just do enter what? Press it 12. Dip 7 times. Well, Lord, why 7? Why 7? Why I gotta dip? Why I gotta dip 7 times? Lord, like one time I should just be cured. Dip 7 times. It's going to be vital, necessary, and imperative that we follow the voice of God, the leading of God, the instruction of God when it seems weird, when it seems strange, when no one else wants to go. When no one else wants to go. My sheep hear my voice. Because they know my voice, they'll follow the sign. I'm opening the gate. The gate is saying, enter. But where he's not, we are not to go. We are not to follow. Only way we'll know that is if we know the voice of God. I want to encourage you to pay attention to the signs, not the obvious. Not the obvious. See, we pay attention to the obvious and then we try to break it down and we try to go deep in that. And the Lord is saying, you're going to get lost. You're going to get lost. I need you to hear that. I need you to see that. But then I need you to shut it off and get before me, because I am the code breaker. I am the code cracker. And the only way you're going to find out the combination and the truth behind the secrecy that is behind that code is if you are in the spirit to hear my voice. Pay attention to the signs. It's not obvious. It's going to require you to go deeper. It's going to require you to go further. It's going to require you to put aside TV. It's going to require you to fast. It's going to require you to pray like never before. It's going to require you to seek the Father for his wisdom, for his mind, for interpretation, for revelation. Put all the noise and the chatter, silence it in this season, because when I tell you the things that we're going to begin to hear and the things that we're going to begin to see, if we're not careful to shut it off, yes, be aware, but to shut it off and not focus on it and not get sucked up in it, but shut it off and seek the Father and get sucked up and caught up in his presence, we're going to be lost. We're going to be lost when we didn't have to be lost. We're going to go astray when we didn't have to go astray. We're going to die when we didn't have to die. And so I encourage you, pay attention to the signs, not the obvious, but what the Lord is saying and what the Lord is showing you. Until next Saturday, keep living, keep laughing, keep loving, keep breathing. Jesus loves you, and I do too.